Hello everybody, it's Redhead Boo here because it's Friday, so that means it's my upload day. Today's video is going to be another addition to my top 10 videos. So I've done top 10 tracks from Little Mix's album Confetti, top 10 concerts, meet and greets, and normal like top 10 movies and top 10 like Disney/Pixar films. So the one today that I'm going to be doing is top 10 interactions. So these can be from celebrities that I've met or like moments from any show I've been to. So yeah, there's a wide variety of like concerts, meet and greets and shows and things like that. So I'm going to start. So in at number 10 is from a concert. So this interaction, before I begin actually, I'm just going to say, like, it might be quite a long video, not too long, but like each interaction has like a story behind it. So I'm going to be telling that story, so yeah. So in at number 10 is my Olly Murs banter. So I went to see Olly Murs with my friend in 2017 at York Races for his tour, his like summer tour of doing like shows outside, and we got barrier somehow. I don't know how it happened, we just got barrier. And before he sang, I think it was I Need You Now, he did like a really cute speech about his ex at the time, and I started having a conversation with my friend like, oh, Booey's talking about his girlfriend, completely forgetting I was at barrier, and he just sort of turned and looked at me and just went, oh, don't worry darling, we're not together anymore. And I was like, what? Because I didn't realise that he actually heard me, because I thought I said it quite quiet, so it was a bit of a shock, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really expect for him to actually hear me, so yeah. But I also did get another interaction during that concert, which happened in his medley that he usually does on tour. It was the song That's the Way, I Like It, and he did a specific dance move, and because I'd seen him a few months before in Leeds, I knew that he was going to do it and he was going to do the dance move, so I decided to copy him and we did it to each other at exactly the same time, which was super duper cool, loved it. Okay, so in at number 9 is from, this does include a massive story behind it, so yeah. So every year, apart from last year, because obviously we couldn't go last year, every year me and my family go and see the pantomime at Bradford Alhambra Theatre. I've always gone for like, must be 15-16 years in a row now. And sometimes I am lucky enough to see the show more than once. Like recently I went to see, well, back in 2019 and early 2020, I went to see the show. First time I was front row, right at the side. Second time I was like second row but right in the middle, right at the centre, and Bradford Alhambra is renowned for having like super cool effects and like 3D, and the performance I saw was Snow White. It didn't have any 3D in it, but it was definitely my favourite show I've ever seen there, other than Peter Pan, but Snow White was amazing. Like, there was a really good cast. There was Matthew Croak, I think, was the prince. Sarah Goggins was Snow White. What was she called? I can't remember the name of the villain now, but like the evil queen was played by Faye Tozer from Steps, and Oddjob, who was like her right hand man, was played by Paul Chuckle from the Chuckle Brothers, and it was sick. It was so good. I loved it. And during the second show, they always seem to have, every year they have this one effect that's always like flying or something which comes out into the audience. And was it a bike? I think, if I can remember, because it was such a long time ago now, it was on like a bike, and it sort of like flew out into like the first 2 rows of the audience, and it would like turn upside down and stuff. And Billy Pearce, who's in it every single year, and I always give like a stellar review of the performance and like email it to him. And during like shows, I'd get the odd interaction, but this one, because when I saw it like the very first time, I don't think he saw me in the crowd, but then the second time, because obviously we were nearer and we were like slap bang in the middle, when he did the bike thing and it turned upside down and was like viewing people, he waved to my mum, and then he saw me, pointed at me and was like, "You okay?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it was nice. And then my friend was like, "How does he know who you are?" And I was like, "Because I see the show every year." And yeah, it definitely wasn't the same like not seeing it last year. So I was absolutely gutted just gutted to not be able to go. So I definitely think I'm going to try and get tickets for this show. I think it's Sleeping Beauty, and I've never really seen that one in pantomime, so I definitely think I want to go to it. Okay, so in at number 8 is also another very long story. So in at number 8, it's, if you've watched my channel for a few years now, yeah, it must be, yeah, you will know that I've got, I don't know how to put this, I've got quite a good relationship with JJ Hamblett, who used to be in Union J, and obviously when they were part of Union J, I was a massive fan, and I'd go to every single like meet and greet, sign-in, concert, anything that was near me as often as I could. And I started getting recognised, but not to a point where they'd know my name and they'd get really excited about seeing me. I mean, they would get excited, but it wasn't like getting recognised in a way, but it was. It's quite hard to explain really. And the very first time that I physically got recognised by JJ was like one of the happiest moments ever. And basically he started doing this, there was an app called Very, I think, and you could basically book a sort of like a FaceTime call for a few minutes and you could chat to the person. And I started doing that when it was released with JJ for like once every 2 weeks or once a month, depending on when I was free. And it was lovely because like the first time, not gonna lie, was very awkward between me. More for me, because if you know me, you know I can be quite awkward with someone I haven't spoken to in a while, or yeah. And it was very, not, I don't know, it's hard to explain. And I was quite shy. And then as we continued calling, I'd increase the time, and the conversation would just flow. Like we would find that we needed like a few minutes to actually talk about whatever we wanted to chat about. And I remember I told him that I was going to see him in Union J at Yorkshire Wildlife Park for their concert, and yeah, it was really cool. And he said, I think he said to me, like, we'll try and meet a few of you during the day. And I just happened to be going to the toilet, happened to come out and see quite a few girls like stood at the gate. And I thought, you know what, go over. So I went over and JJ arrived in his car and I met him. And he stepped out his car, saw me and shouted, "Are you alright, Lucy?" And that was literally the first time, other than like the app, that I'd had like face-to-face contact, and it did feel so nice. And I do remember after I met him and had so many photos, like walking away with just the biggest grin on my face. And yeah, like every other time that I've met him since then, so like when I bumped into him at Yorkshire Wildlife Park in September 2018, I think, I don't know, 2017, it was 2017. And then when I saw him in pantomime at the beginning of 2018 in January, like just, it did feel really nice. And in a way it did sort of feel like it wasn't really a fan and an idol meeting, it was just like friends, lifelong friends in a way. Even though I know it's not really like that, I think, I don't know. But yeah, it was good, and he's definitely, still to this day, one of my favourite people ever, and I do miss him a lot. Like, it's been too long. Obviously I know circumstances have changed, so yeah. Okay, so in at number 7, yeah, that's right. So this one for me, before I start talking about it, was so special, and it will always have such a fond memory in my heart, always. Like, I'm never gonna forget it, and the fact that I've vlogged to this day means that I never will have to forget it either. And it was the Vamps in Harrogate. So this one sort of does have 2 interactions. Yeah, 2 things happened during this day which made it so special that it just had to make the list, really. So yeah, so basically the Vamps announced extra tour dates for the Four Corners tour, and one of these dates just happened to be Harrogate, which is literally like 10 minutes away from my hometown. So I was like, I have to go, I have to, because before then I was just doing Manchester. I was like, you know what, I'm going, do not care, I'm getting it booked, I'm going. And I booked it, of course I did, and then they released VIP meet and greet for the tour date, and I was like, I have to meet them, it just has to happen. And I did, of course I did, it's me. So it came to the day of the concert, and that was the day that I decided I wanted a fringe, because I wanted to stand out and be different. And I got my fringe, met up with Helen, and she stayed over at my house because we had Harrogate on the Friday and Manchester on the Saturday. So it was literally like one concert after another. And went to Harrogate on the train, got to the venue and just sat outside the venue and chilled. And then I checked Instagram and I saw that James McVeigh was on a train and I'd just gone through Knaresborough, which is literally where I lived. So I could have been on the same train as James, but I didn't care. I was like, I'm going to be first to meet them, I want to stay here. And we were in the queue outside waiting to be let in, and James arrived and waved at us all, which was nice. And then, as it's me, if you know me, you know what I'm about to say. Whenever I have met the Vamps in the past, I've always needed a toilet just before. And it happened to me, and I was like, do I have time to go to a toilet before I meet them? And the security said, just go. So I went to the toilet, and then I realised I'd lost our places in the queue. But luckily, this really, really nice security guard, I wish I would have got his name to just say thank you, because he was amazing. He was so nice to us. And I came out of the toilet and got back in the queue, obviously lost my spot, so I was a bit like, I'm no longer going to be the first person to meet them. And then he just signalled me out the queue and went, you, come here. And I was a bit like, oh no, I'm about to get told off, like freaking out. And he said, stand by the escalator. So I just stood by it, and then everyone like got in a queue behind me. And I was like, what? And he looked at me and said, you're going to be the first person to meet them. And I was just in so much shock. I'll never, ever forget that I was first to meet them. And then, obviously queued up just behind where you walk behind to get the photo and go. And the woman said to me, it's your turn. So I went up, I met them all, had amazing chats with the boys, like they're always so nice, always. And told them I was excited to see them in my hometown, and yeah. So I went off, and we bumped into Brad again. Yeah. And a lot of the like support acts as well. And we got into the concert. We were a lot closer than I thought we was going to be. And this is the other moment. So Connor, bless his little heart, he had injured his arm, so he wasn't going to perform, but he was there. Obviously he was there, and he came out to perform Waves. That happened, and he went back. And then during All Night, I always get really hyped up by that song, and I just go crazy because it's me, okay? You know it's me. And he was stood literally opposite me behind the curtain, and I was just going mad, like dabbing, jumping up and down, going crazy. And he saw me, as you do, and I don't know why, but he started filming, and it looked like he was filming me. And I remember because Helen pointed it out to me, and I was just freaking out. And then I got interaction with him in Manchester when I brought up what happened in Harrogate. And he was like, oh, that was you. And yeah, it was pretty crazy, not gonna lie. And he told me it was nice to see me again, so winner. It's another Connor moment in at number 6. This moment for me will just never be forgotten ever. And it happened at the very first time I had VIP and Wow Pit, when Wow Pit was one section rather than the 2. And Wow Pit, basically, I don't know how to explain this. So it was before Somebody to You, and Connor was walking around, literally his microphone stand was right in front of me, and I saw him, and I just happened to shout, Connor, Connor, and he turned around, looked down at me. I had my arm out like that, my hand out, not really expecting him to do much, because he isn't the type of person to interact as much as Brad. So I was a bit like, you never know. And he literally grabbed my hand and then grabbed my friend, and he handed me a guitar pick, and I was like, what? He was just so nice, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my god. I'm just freaking out because obviously he'd just touched my hand and it was one of the best moments of my life, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so now we are in our top 5. Now these ones are either Little Mix based or Disney, from like Disney on Ice shows. So in at number 5 is from Minnie Mouse, my girl Minnie. So I went to Disney on Ice back in 2019 to celebrate finishing uni, basically, and we were front row. As always, I love booking front row for Disney on Ice because it's just amazing. It always has been amazing. And Minnie, right at the end, there was Donald, Goofy, Mickey and Minnie. And there was 2 like podiums right at the sides of the stage. One was right near me. And then the other 2 characters would go like on the ice waving to people. So Donald and Goofy were waving to people on the actual ice. Mickey was on the opposite podium to Minnie, and Minnie was on the podium near me. So I freaked out. I was going, Minnie, Minnie! And I didn't expect anything, and she waved at me and then blew me a kiss, and I blew her one back because it was Minnie Mouse, and I was just, I love Minnie, I do. Cannot wait to meet her on the cruise ship, of course I can't. But it was just amazing, like, you gotta love Minnie Mouse, you do. She's a queen, we love her, we stan, yeah. Just amazing. And then in at number 4, again, is another moment from the show. But it's not from Minnie, it's from my number 1, Donald. So, if you've not really seen my channel, you won't know that Donald Duck is literally my favourite classic Disney character of all time. He's just such a mood. He's amazing, he's funny, he's cheeky, he's moody, he's just brilliant. I love him a lot. And Donald, for me, yeah, he is my favourite, other than Stitch. But Donald was like waving at loads of little kids, and I wanted to show him how much I adored him. So I started waving at him, and he like was right in front of me. He waved back, which was amazing, and I just shouted, I love you. And he drew a heart and pointed at me, and I was like, oh, Donald. But I didn't catch it on the vlog. I wish I did, because it was one of them moments that I'll never, ever forget. Ever. Okay, so we are in to the top 3. Don't know what our hand's doing. Top 3. So, in at number 3 is one moment that I did catch on camera for my vlog, and this was from LM5 tour, Little Mix in Leeds, where I was VIP, front row, right in the centre. So I literally had like the best seats in the house. I was so happy. And all night, Perry was just living for me. She was loving me, showing me so much, not admiration, but like, because I was just going for it. Yes, I was filming, but I was also going for it in like every single song. And she'd do little things to me all throughout the night. And I was sort of, this is going to sound so big-headed of me, but I was sort of expecting like a massive interaction right at the end. And it happened. it really happened, and I just cannot believe it actually happened. But during Touch, now Touch for me is one of my favourite songs to hear live by the girls. I love it. It's just such a fun, upbeat, amazing song, and I do adore it. And Perry, bless her little heart, before they did the dance breakdown, she came walking back over and literally stood right in front of me, I think. And she did like a sideways wave at me, and they sang a little bit. They did the breakdown, the dance, and I was living for it. I loved that dance breakdown. And then after it, they'd continue the last bit of the chorus, and she was literally singing it to me. And then they bowed, and I was just like screaming at her, going absolutely crazy. And she blew me the biggest kiss ever. And I was just like, you what? You what, Perry? What are you trying to do to me? And I was just like, I was just completely in shock. Like, I freaked out, and I just turned to Helen and went, did you just see that? Did you just see what she did to me? And I love the video so much. Every time I just constantly watch it, because it's amazing, and oh, I love her, and I cannot wait to see the girls again and just be like, try and get more interaction, because I love it. Okay, so in at number 2 is my final moment from Disney on Ice. So I got told that if you're front row, when it's the Aladdin section, the genie will pick out one adult female, and he'll basically flirt with her throughout the whole song. And I just kept on telling myself, what if it's me? But I thought, nah, it won't be me. It'll be like someone a lot older than me. And it got to the Aladdin section, and I remembered what someone said, and I was like, right, okay, be prepared just in case it is me. So he came over, and I noticed he literally stopped right in front of me, and I thought, no. And he was waving, going call me, showing off his muscles, and just flirting. And I said to my friend, when he'd skated off, who was that to? And she looked at me and went, do you not realise that was at you? And I was like, what? I was like, are you sure it was to me? It didn't look like it. And it turned out it was to me. And he kept on just coming over to me, blowing me kisses. I was blowing them back. I was just reacting to it. And again, I'm gutted. I never got it on camera because it was hilarious. Like, he just, every time he came over, would just lean over the ice rink and just look at me and just be like, hi. So I pulled the genie. The genie is my boyfriend. It's just, oh god, it was just one of them moments that was hilarious, and I love telling the story of how the genie became my boyfriend to people. Yeah. And I mean, I love the genie anyway, so it just made it 100 times better. Okay, so in at number 1 is a moment that I'll never ever forget. Not just Perry interacting with me, but Leanne was also loving me. Jade and Jessie, they would interact and smile and just do stuff, but it was more Leanne and Perry. And Leanne, during Think About Us, right at the end, like, there were moments in Wings with her, in No More Sad Songs, in Woman's World, and in Think About Us, she was blowing kisses to everyone on the front row, absolutely everyone, and waving at them. And I thought, you know what, if she blows one to me, I'm going to blow one back. So she waved at me, blew me a kiss, I blew her one back, and her reaction was the freaking cutest thing I've ever seen, and she put her hand on her heart and just smiled and went, and it was just like to see that reaction from her, because she doesn't get the recognition she deserves. Leanne is amazing, she's just an inspiration, and I love her a lot. Yeah, putting it out there. And I can't wait to hype her up on this tour, just like I hyped her up on LM5, and yeah. But anyway, that was my top 10 interactions video. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do not forget to like, comment and subscribe. Turn on the bell and you'll be notified when I post my next video, which will probably be a confetti tag or maybe another top 10. Haven't decided yet. But anyway guys, this is Redhead Boo signing off. Bye everyone!